what's brewing? How are you all? It's been a little while, just over a week. I did go to Dubai. I came back last night, had an absolutely wonderful time, really enjoyed it. I did vlog some things, but because I was emptying my phone was filling up a little bit. So I've just dumped the clips into like day folders and I haven't really looked through them yet or decided if, when, how I'm going to put them into vlogs. So I'm not going to make you any guarantees on timing of those, but I will take a look at them. And if Chantal comes a little too much, if she's a little too hard to follow at some point, I may just edit together some of my own footage and put it up. And if you like vlogs, you can enjoy it. And if you don't like vlogs, you can skip it. So the wonders of choice. Speaking of Chantal, oh, what did I miss? Nothing, it seems. Nothing, it seems. I was trying a little bit, not really, I didn't want to focus a lot of time on her, but I was trying to just keep up slightly because it's so easy to just miss generations of happenings, because she does have a generally cyclical nature. Cyclical? Is that the word I'm looking for? Cyclical, perhaps? Yes, I feel like that's better. It's been a while. I'm not doing well with words. It's also quite late. It's nearly 10 p.m, but here we are. I did actually get decent sleep last night. One of the things I love about arriving in the evening is after a day's travel, even if it's only a short journey, you're usually tired. But it didn't matter so much with Dubai because Dubai is only like a 3-hour flight and an hour's time difference, so it doesn't take much adjustment. But if you're doing a long haul flight particularly, I really recommend trying to arrive in the evening, because if you've got, or even if you've got a shorter flight but it's awkward and so you've got a lot of layover, it's really good to arrive in the evening because then you can just go to bed, but when you wake up you'll be on the time zone of wherever you are, you know? In my case I was just tired and I went to bed, but I got decent sleep. What was the point I was making? This is me when I ramble, sorry guys. I can't remember why I told you that. Anyway, let's move on, let's go back to Foodie. So I didn't want to devote too much time to her, but I also didn't want to miss too much in case anything kicked off. So I tended to, in the evening when I was planning my next day, if I didn't know what I wanted to do, I'd just stick on another reactor, like pulpy, sometimes jasmine, although jasmine's a little bit behind at the minute. And I would just try and keep up that way, because then it's good background noise while I do stuff. So nothing new. She did follow very much the pattern she always follows, which was she had an argument with him, then she was like, I'm going to keep him off channel because I really respect you guys. She always goes back to, no, I love my audience and I respect you and I understand that you don't like it, so I'm going to keep it off, which was the same thing she did this time. She doesn't respect her audience at all. She has moments when she remembers more vividly that her audience earns her income. But she doesn't respect her audience at all, because if she did, she wouldn't do what she does every time she goes through one of these cycles, and what she's doing right now, which is immediately after saying that, live streaming with him. There was some kind of talk about, well, I'll live stream from his house, but in a separate room, I can set it up. So she's sort of softening the ground for the idea of, well, I'm still going to be there. I'm always going to be there. So no, I'll keep it separate for you guys. Like, that's really respecting the chat's wishes, when it's not at all. Not that she did it, but it's not at all, because the whole point is the chat's like, nah, we don't want him to be part of your channel. We don't want you to be there. So if she's going to be, don't showcase it, do it from home. But because she's over there so much, if she just waited till she was home, she wouldn't earn anywhere as near as much money, because she couldn't go live as often because she's spending days at his place at this point. And so this is what we find. And then she's like, no, I just want to be honest. It's always in the name of honesty. I don't want to hide things from you guys. When the fact is, she's too lazy. And I suspect, I don't want to say greedy. Greedy is, I think, too harsh. But she's too aware of her money to not include that time when she is with him, because it would be a big hit to the channel in terms of what she could produce, and it would take more effort to plan around, which she doesn't want to do. If she loved and respected her chat as much as she claims to, between cussing them out and telling them to get lost and blocking them, then she would produce the pre-recorded content that she's been promising but not delivering, and she wouldn't have Nader anywhere near her channel. even if that was the only change we saw, even if she was still with him behind the scenes and everything else was still going on, if she kept it off channel, that would be respecting her audience. I don't actually want it to be going on even behind the scenes. So I guess I'm in a weird position where I'm like, well, I don't want her to lie about it, but I also don't want her to showcase it. So I'd rather it just wasn't happening, but clearly that's not an option here, because God knows she ain't leaving. So yeah, this is where we are. Currently, they are co-stars in this, and she's putting all her efforts towards his channel, and some things are going down. So this is something I never thought I'd do, because I never ever go into his channel. I never ever will. But I've got part of the live stream that Nader did because I want to discuss their interactions, specifically the argument and how he responded to her, because she makes a lot of, well, no, you don't understand how he is behind the scenes, and he's so caring, you just misunderstand it and you don't see it on live stream. And it's true that people are frequently very different online than off, and when they're presenting themselves and when they're not. Foodie has a very strange arrangement on her channel. I can't really think of a better word for it, where because she's so fake in her vlogs and she shows way too much in her live, she actually kind of has it going simultaneously. She's both dishonest and too honest in the same breath, unintentionally, I suppose. Or maybe you could argue intentionally sometimes, I don't know. But it's a very weird setup. But then on top of that, we've got all the things going on around her now, which are very hard to keep up with. But anyway, I wanted to discuss, because I think we get flashes of what it's really like behind the scenes. And you've got to remember that Nader himself is also presenting himself in a way and faking things. And sometimes in a sense of, you don't know, look what I can get away with. That we used the term a little while back, duper's delight, where she tells her version of the truth, and we don't know everything, but things that I feel, as much as she is a liar, I feel are true. And he doesn't want to admit to certain things even though she's told them, and he gets this delight from, one, not answering the question with his audience, and two, seeing her seethe about it, because she doesn't hide anything from him. She practically roadmaps her deepest fears to him all the time. And either she does it on her live streams where she's performing for us, but also kind of for him, or in this particular set of clips where she's elsewhere in the room and listening in. I have used just sayings cut down, and I cut that down myself, because I don't need any more of him than we currently get, quite frankly. I really can't stand the man. You know that phrase, makes my skin crawl? He actually does. There's parts of me that are just like, that's how I feel when I see him on screen. But unfortunately, we can't look at this dynamic without them both being somewhat present. So this is what we're going to look at today. So let's get started.
Don't you get tired here being at your place all the time? Tell her to go away so you can have fun with other women.
They both laugh at that, and I don't see what's funny about it at all. I think she just, the only real card she can play with comments like that is, people are so ridiculous. Clearly he's not going to do that, as she is presumably still infected with gonorrhea that he got from cheating on her. I don't understand why it's funny, but I guess performing, that's the only response you can have, so let's laugh about it.
Everyone is asking if you are single. Are you looking?
And again, that's what I mean by he doesn't like to answer the questions.
Fatty, she's going to eat.
That is quite the username. Speaking of respect, a conversation about respect is going to come up. And usernames like that gives you some idea of what's going on in the chat. And I do want to discuss his chat a little bit later. But the point we need here is she is there. She is listening to all of this. Yeah, and the chat knows it because they can hear her. And that's all we really need to be aware of moving into this.
No, she go to the bathroom. Did you take her key again? A key again? What key are you talking about, guys? You dreaming?
We're dreaming, even though he joked about it on a previous live stream of hers, and we've had her side of the story.
Fatty, are you begging here to stay? I hate your key. That's funny. I don't beg nobody. I'm not that kind of person.
There's a conversation to be had about his self-image and the damage to it that her stories do. And any abusive man is going to be somewhat thin-skinned. Yeah, in terms of how they view themselves versus how they're viewed by the world. And the idea of that image being injured can be a really big one and can cause a lot of blow-ups. So some of the comments that the chat are making, I feel very deliberately in a lot of them, are designed really to belittle him, to trigger an event of some kind. And I really, really hate that. I find it incredibly distasteful. And it's dangerous, obviously, because she is there, and the more he remembers and the more he feels injured, the more they remind him of all the stuff she's said, and the more they remind him of how he appears, the more it's going to be at odds with how he thinks he appears, and the angrier he's going to get about it. Now, we see some flashes here, but this idea of, oh, you beg her to stay. She, I don't think, has ever said he begged her to stay. That I 100% believe. He's told her to stay. He's prevented her from leaving. He's yelled and belittled at her, if we're to believe her, which I do about some things. I know she's a lying liar who lies, but some of the way she tells certain stories do ring true. And we'll talk about their interaction and how they speak to each other a bit later. But this idea that he would beg a woman is going to be percolating in his head.
If she brushed her teeth or no, it's not my business, actually. I brush my teeth. Thanks for so chat.
That's stupid.
What's stupid?
You know I brush my teeth.
It's not my problem if anybody should brush your teeth or no. What's stupid?
What is she talking about? Her face looks like 5 miles like a rough road.
There's quite a lot in this clip. I hope you can hear everything. I know my audio quality isn't great in my videos, but I hope you're hearing everything. So there's the first thing of that's stupid. Now, it does appear, based on things later, that he heard that as her calling him stupid, which I don't think she did. And I don't want to sound like I'm defending Nader, because good God, I hate him. I hate every interaction they've ever had on the internet. Every time, it just makes me cringe in different ways. But in this case, he's actually doing a slightly better job than she does. When because people are baiting him. People are saying, oh, does she brush her teeth? They're just trying to dig up things on Chantal, which is also in its own way a little bit of injury, because he's got this idea that he's the main draw of his channel and this is what people come to watch and his story is the most important. But the majority of his chats are question about Chantal and about their relationship and things related to Chantal, which is a little bit, belittling might not be the right word, but it belittles his position on channel, I suppose. I don't think I'm using the right word, but I'm blanking at the moment. I apologise. I hope you get the idea I mean. So this is all sort of going to start building because he doesn't like it. He doesn't like that she's the focus, even when she's not on camera. But anyway, to the point. He actually there was just refusing to answer it, and he tried to draw it back to himself and say, I brush my teeth, that's what's important. And then she steps in, because the thing is, something that really sticks in Chantal's craw is the fact that he doesn't defend her from these ridiculous questions. Now, this is an odd thing to step in on because she's admitted she doesn't brush her teeth. She said multiple times on camera that, oh, I haven't brushed my teeth today. Oh, I didn't think I did it yesterday. Or when they've been like yellow and shiny from the crap that gets on them while you sleep, she's just gone, and she's made a joke of it. So it's an odd thing to get super offended about, But the point of this really is she wants him to defend her or to shut down those comments, and he never ever will. He won't. So long as he's getting the super chats, he might refuse to answer them, but he'll never shut them down. So she's beginning to seethe about that, and is drawing attention away from him, which is going to start pricking his temper.
I don't care, guys, if somebody brush his teeth or no, bro. If wash his feet or no, it's not my business. And don't tell me I'm stupid again.
I didn't say you're stupid, I said it's stupid.
Listen to the tone of her. I said it's stupid! And we talked about the lack of maturity she has. She sounds very juvenile when she says it in that way. It's very much a tone issue, because actually she's right. She didn't call him stupid as far as I could tell. She said, that's a stupid comment. She didn't mean it towards him. And that's why I think she immediately went to that quite teenage juvenile, I didn't say that tone, because actually he was wrong. She hadn't said that, but she doesn't really have a mechanism. She's high, and they've admitted she's high, and she's just not mature in general. She doesn't really have a mechanism to express herself there in a way that's going to get her point across without causing a fight. And given that she's high and a bit pissed off, I don't think she's trying to be completely honest. This isn't a misunderstanding. She's irritated and wants to pick.
Because you know I'm not high. She drive high. No, she's not driving. She's still here. Thanks for switching. Don't let her talk to you like that, right?
This. Oh, sorry. I accidentally kicked the other chair. This is the chat just gassing him up. Don't let her talk to you like that, because they want to see something happen on screen. But, okay, slight aside. When I was in undergrad, we were shown a video at one point of a clip of a movie. I'm so sorry, I did do a search before we started this react, but the name of the movie, I just can't find it. But it's quite an old movie now, and it's about a teacher who was falsely accused by a student of assaulting her. And this accusation builds through the whole film. And it's not true. He's an innocent guy. He's just like a decent guy who just, it builds and it builds and it builds. And somewhere near the end of the movie, they're together and he beats the shit out of her. Like I said, I don't remember much of the details, but there's a moment where this guy who was innocent, who had never laid a hand on her, turns around and punches her. And the whole classroom went in that kind of disbelieving half laugh of it actually happened. And then as the scene continues, the whole class just got deadly quiet, very awkward as you kind of take in what you're seeing. And the tutor pointed that out, the change in the dynamic of the class and in the response of the audience, where because we know as an audience that the character was lying, there's a sense of wanting her to see some justice for torturing this character. And when it actually happens, you don't really, I don't want to say beating her is justice, that's a misspeak on my part. When there are actual consequences, however horrific, there's a moment of, oh, because you can't believe it's happened, but there's nowhere to go after that, and it's awful, yeah? And I feel like a very similar thing would happen here. They want him to get fired up. They want to see what Foodie has been telling us this whole time. But in terms of actually dealing with the consequences of that online, of actually watching something like that, I don't think anyone's ready for. Because as much as there are people who do really hate her, I think a lot of the people who go and watch Nader are because they hate Chantal. They're really invested in their hate of Chantal. But the reality of what they're nudging him towards, knowing that he has a violent history, this is not a like-for-like comparison. In the movie, this guy has done nothing. This guy never did anything. And it's really just sort of saying what people can be pushed to, I suppose. This guy doesn't need pushing. He's got a violent past, he's got violent convictions, and she said that he's assaulted her before. So I don't think anyone is ready for the reality of that to play out online if shit ever did hit the fan. And that's really a problem we're finding with the Nader storyline is, as I call it, a storyline. One of the reasons she loves to come onto her chat is because she gets the attention, she gets the response, but ultimately we're not real. We are not real people. If there was ever a point where she might be pushed in real life by a person to do something that made her uncomfortable, her online audience can't do that. So she can dump onto them, but she can also ignore them at the push of a button. You know, block, you're gone. Oh, I'm not going to go live if you're going to talk like this, you know? But that means the reverse is also true. To the people who want to see if they can get her in a position where he loses his temper, she's not real. She's a story they watch on the internet. And as they're pushing the actual real reality that he could lose his temper and actually harm her, seriously physically harm her, isn't one that they're really engaging with. This is just a test to see how far they can push, and it's a dangerous game to play.
I did already.
It's okay for you to talk to me like that. Yeah, okay.
What? I'm reading my super chat. Don't talk to her like that. It's none of your business. I talk whatever I can, whatever I need.
And this, he doesn't like being told what to do any more than she does. She's being mouthy right now because just like when she said, I'll go live and go get my stuff, I'll stay on live so he can't do anything. She believes that the live will protect her. And she's angry. She's angry about a lot of things because as much as she's like, no, I love him so much. She's angry about a lot of things because he's done a lot of shit. Even if we only take the base facts that she's building on for the things she tells us, he seems to have done a lot of shit and the relationship just seems terrible. It seems incredibly toxic, and she's no saint, but it seems incredibly toxic. So she's got a lot of anger built up for it, and she shouldn't be relying on the internet protecting her like this. She either needs to have a conversation, and it needs to be a conversation, not a fight, and see if she can get anywhere, which I don't think she can, because a lot of the things that he would have to acknowledge in himself for there to be actual change, he will never acknowledge, and she lacks the emotional maturity to do that anyway. She just needs to get out. Instead of starting the argument, instead of snipping at him, instead of just putting her foot down but not really, which we're going to see in a minute, she just needs to get out and not go back. That's going to be the only solution for this, and she's not willing to do it because she's got these big red hearts in her eyes and she can't see the red flags over it.
Central, Nader, don't be a bitch. You think I am? No, I don't think I'm.
There was a really long pause that I cut out after he said the comment, and then he thought about it and went, you think I am? Well, I think he was processing that and he was taking a breath because he was going to get angry. And he is going to be better at holding his emotion online than she is in general. He's still not good, but when he wanted to turn around and say something that was maybe unpalatable online, then he muted. We don't have proof of what he said, because the thing with people like him, the thing with people who go through life abusively in this way, is they know how to put up a front. And live stream makes it harder, but she's not going to win this game because he's used to manipulating people.
I'm bitch, and if you see me that way, don't be here.
All of these comments that are designed to demean him, he's going to blame her for.
Don't get it, Shelly and Gipsy.
Especially a comment from a woman, you think he's going to take that? No, no, no. Bad enough that it's a comment that reflects poorly on him. But to take that shit from a woman, how dare you?
Because she doesn't speak. Because you don't speak stupid, that's why.
She was trying to say, oh, you don't understand her because you don't speak stupid. She was trying to defend him then, which is another reason she gets quite pissy. But he doesn't want to hear it. He's had enough of her. He wants her to shut up. But could you imagine shushing your girlfriend online? The argument that someone shushes me. I've had actual I've been debating with people over like a beer or something and a while back, and I had a guy talking to me basically saying, yes, things are unequal for females, but shouldn't you be happy? Look at 100 years ago, shouldn't you be happy with how far you've come? Like, you just pat me on the head. Well, yes, it's not equal, but aren't you doing well? I lit into this guy and he was trying to shush me so he could get his point across. I was like, fuck you, no. Like, I would not take well to being shushed.
Show some respect.
Show some respect.
Is she showing me respect?
She don't show you, she's in my live stream, wasn't in your channel.
That was addressed at me.
She's on my channel.
Where's your respect?
She's my channel.
I don't care.
And that's where she falls down. So this was actually a conversation. I mean, it was an argument, but the points filling this argument should have been a conversation where it's like, okay, no, I'm on my chat. It's my environment. I'm telling you not to do it, because we've talked about how she's been heavy-handed with his channel when she went in and deleted the video, for example. She oversteps sometimes, but he also doesn't step up, I feel, when he should. You talk about respect in an audience. The way you build a good community is to set those guidelines and to enforce them. So the idea that she's like, defend me, don't let them say things like that, I understand, because as much as they're definitely not boyfriend-girlfriend, they're kind of boyfriend-girlfriend, or as close as this ridiculous relationship gets to. So the fact that he's allowing that stuff on stream just encourages it to happen, because there's no consequence to it. He doesn't stop it, and therefore it's allowed, and that's how he builds his audience, and that's why these people keep coming. But he keeps getting the super chat, so he's just like, shut up, it's my viewership, it's my channel. Where it's his channel, she's uploading and editing all his videos. And that's a real point she could make. It's your channel that you do no work for, that I buy ingredients for, that I film, that I edit, that I upload. It's your channel. Where is your contribution? He's on camera, but where is his contribution to the maintenance of this channel? There's very little of it. And if it's your channel, learn to do these things yourself, but you're not. And that is something, I understand why she didn't, but she then goes, oh, never mind. And that completely cuts her argument off at the knee. Because I understand she's there, she doesn't want to start. She doesn't want to have this fight with him because it could lead somewhere really bad for her. But this is how he talks to her. This is what he says. And this big man, oh, it's my channel. Really? Is it? Really? Because I don't see evidence of that.
No, you have to care.
No.
No, you have to.
I'm leaving as soon as I'm freaking not stopping.
Leave.
Oh, and this shit. She sounds 13 right now. She sounds 13. She does. I'm leaving. I'm running away from home. Really? I wish she would leave, but she is stoned. And she's just admitted she's stoned, which is going to be relevant later, right? But in terms of the seriousness, he knows damn well she's never going to go. It's never going to be final until he says it's final. So he doesn't have to take that seriously. He can just tell her what a fucking moron she's being. And he's not going to care. But the threat, he knows, is empty. And every time, it's like when you try and teach anything. Like, I'm a teacher, I go into a classroom. If you don't enforce something you say, you lose them. It's the same in general life. It's an empty threat and he knows it. And to be like, oh, in a few hours, because she thinks in a few hours she'll be totally sober, in a few hours, I'm out of here. What kind of threat is that? It's already 2:30 in the morning. She certainly shouldn't be driving, which we're going to talk about, but if you're serious about any threat, fuck him, leave, don't even talk to him. Just get up, walk out, go back to that gas station where you had a fight and call an Uber, because you make 12 grand a month for all you talked the other day about, oh, I've got a conversation with bailiffs to have. Just kidding. Really? Because you're never just kidding. Where did that come from? What bailiffs? What debt? I want to know. Because nothing that comes right before just kidding is her just kidding. And that sounds serious. So you can afford, theoretically, on the 10 to 12 grand a month you make, you can afford to get that Uber. Go home. But the threat, the moment you threaten, you hang out and you're like, oh yeah, nice. You're never going to guilt him into treating you better because he doesn't care. And if he doesn't care, there's no guilt. She met her match there. So don't engage in these games, these manipulation games that you've been trying with most other people in your life, because they won't work on him. Just get out of there, because if you're serious, that will show you're serious. And if you don't, then you're not, and he doesn't need to take it seriously.
I'm not. You have to. If you're being here, be respect.
Excuse me?
If you're being here, give us
No,
respect.
you show me respect.
What I let you?
You, never mind. This
Never mind.
Like,
Shush.
don't tell me to shut.
Shush.
Don't tell me to shut.
Shut up
Or you're what?
or leave.
Shut
Simba.
up, leave.
Oh, now he's raising it. He remembers he's on chat, so he's not raising, he's not screaming at her. But he knows she doesn't like being shouted at.
Simba.
Wow.
I'm here in my place to feel good. Not to feel bad at all. At all. In live stream to have fun too.
To have fun, because he's not having fun with her in the room. Bear in mind, I don't know when this was recorded versus her live streams with them together, if it was the same night or not, but apparently he wasn't having fun with her.
I said clear.
Don't talk to me.
You don't talk. At
Don't
all.
talk to me. Don't talk to me, but I'm going to sit here and take it. Get the fuck out. Don't drive, but get the fuck out.
Better.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 1 minute, guys.
No.
So, bye. Guys, I know I said get out, but get out to an Uber. I think for the rest of this video, because he muted for a minute or two, a couple of minutes, and then came back. I think she was sitting there. I think he told her to sit her ass down and he would deal with her when he was done. And I think she did it. So, we'll see. We'll see, but I think she is there for the rest of this live. I don't think for a second he would have allowed her to leave. I don't think he would have allowed her to assert herself like that. And I don't think she really intended it. I think she was throwing a tantrum to get what she wanted, and she's never going to get it. But I think she's listening to the rest of this live.
Hey, guys. He does not respect women at all. Who tell you that? I respect who respect me, whatever. Man, woman, young, old. You respect me, I respect you back. Easy, simple. You know?
Not easy or simple. Because yes, there is a mutual respect you should have for people. But the things he says and done are not respectable. So to say, well, you have to respect me back after interactions like this, no, I don't have to respect that. I don't have to respect that after some of the other interactions she's told us they have. It's not a blanket rule without nuance. And the nuance is, if what you're doing is not respectable, is not respectful yourself, why should she respect you?
Who respect me, you don't deserve respect. At all. That's who I am. Take it or leave it.
God, I wish she would leave it. I wish she would leave it.
Straight to the point.
Because he's the big man.
She'll be kissing your feet in the morning. Suri is not other people's business. She kiss my feet or kiss my ass.
But she tells it to everyone, and you're currently on live stream, and that makes it everyone's business, and apparently that's something neither of you are good at realizing.
So if you want to join my live stream, with respect.
No, if you don't want it on your live stream, don't put it on your live stream. It's not disrespect to discuss what you're presenting, excuse me. So, and again, that's the thing. You're like, you have to respect me. Well, don't show me this shit then, because I don't respect this shit.
Because I respect you back. Like, no point to be here if you don't like me, right?
Oh, that's a page out of Chantal's playbook. And that face again. Oh, you know when they say couples start to look like each other?
Save your time. Simple. Be nice. You know that two words? Be nice.
And again, the conversation about how you curate your audience and how you build your community, when you're allowing certain comments that are very much disparaging towards Chantal in there, you invite that kind of commentary about all things. You want people to be nice, you have to be nice. You want people to have boundaries, you have to set boundaries. You're not willing to do it because you like the super chats and you like what comes in, and you like that he's got kind of like Chantal's VIBs, it's the anti-VIBs, I suppose, that have been like blocked and hated by Chantal that are all coming in to say, oh no, you're so wonderful. She doesn't sound like she's being scared or abused, because he feeds on that as much as she feeds on the VIBs. They both like a hug box. So he's not going to get rid of those people, but those people are going to take the conversation in a certain way. So saying be nice, promote a better atmosphere, and if you don't, deal with it.
Said church, she just want to control you. Wrong person. Nobody can control me.
I'm a big man. No one's controlling me. Bait, bait, bait. Push, push, push. The chat knows what they're doing.
Ever. Until I die.
Well, the chat's controlling you pretty well.
Chill Lipsy. She didn't sound like a good woman to me.
See, to me, she did, like, she was angry because she has very little emotional control, and actually she had reasons to be upset. But she does sound cowed to me, for want of a better word. Do excuse me. I'm not calling her a cow, but when they started to really go there, she backed off. She went, never mind. No, don't talk. No, never mind. No, I'm leaving. But obviously is still somewhere in the room. You know, she doesn't maybe sit there and go, oh my God, don't come near me. But fear doesn't have to be that obvious. She's clearly not willing to stand up to him because she knows it could lead somewhere really bad for her. So does she really not sound scared? I would argue it.
Thanks. We just heard here. Is this all fake? Why I hide stuff? Why I lie about stuff? Why I'm being fake?
That's not a no. Why would I do that? That's not a no.
I'm not coward. Should I?
I'm not a coward.
Gypsy, Chantal says she's scared of you. You beat her? Guess what she said. Doesn't mean that's true.
And that's true. There are three sides to every story. There's hers, there's his, and there's the truth. But there's enough to her stories. Like, we can generally tell when she's lying. There are some consistent points that have come up in her stories, and there have been moments when she has been overly emotional and not as able to keep track of what she's saying because it's just flowing out of her, where I don't think she's lied. And remember, I still believe she's in the room. So he's saying this to the camera. Remember, her being perceived as a liar is bizarrely a very hot topic for her. Because remember how angry she got when she was like, and they're gonna believe him. Ugh. And she was so frustrated because it is his word against hers, and he likes to disagree with her. And it's a really hot button issue. And the disrespect of, I think she's still in the room, and he's sitting there straight out calling her a liar, and she's not responding. So think again, what did he say to her when the camera was on mute? I'm guessing nothing good.
Lying about abuse is sick. Thanks for super chat.
This was in response to people saying Chantal was lying about abuse, which I don't believe she is. I believe they're both very toxic. I believe they've had arguments that she may have started and she may have picked, but I don't believe her toxicity erases his abuse.
I appreciate it. Shirley R. I hope she's okay. Oh my God. Yes, she's okay. I don't eat people.
But she's still sitting there, I think. I mean, let's say she's not, then she's what, driving home high? Nah, I think she's very much still sitting there, but I don't eat people, but you do other things.
Whatever, I mean, I don't like you because of what Chantal told. Here, you know me now.
Yeah.
Now you have your own decision.
Yeah, and look at what we've seen. Do you think he's any better than what she's described? I don't think she is. But again, this is the chat now gassing him up, just like her diehard VIBs. Oh no, well, she's a terrible person, and therefore your terrible behavior is not true at all. And look at this, and no, I believe in you now. And he wants to hear this. This just kind of repairs his own self-image.
I really thought you were a bad guy before too, honestly.
God, this chat makes me
But the truth
sick.
always come to the light. I appreciate it. I respect you more, actually.
I'm gonna go get a slush.
Oh, there she is.
Huh?
I'm going.
1 minute, guys.
So now she definitely is there. and she wants to go drive home. She wants to go get a slush. And remember, she says she has to make excuses to leave. So he muted. He told her an equivalent of sit down and shut the fuck up. And then she's like, no, I'm going to get a slushie. That's her excuse to leave. No, I'm not angry at you. I'm not angry at you as much as she sounds very petulant. I'm going to go get a slushie. That's the reason. That's the reason we're talking. That's the reason, and just that reason I'm leaving.
Fatty, are you holding her? No, I don't have a leash.
Because physical restraint is the only way you restrain people. He muted again and went and spoke to her. That was the last of the clips that I put in. So that all seems awful. And again, I don't understand why she doesn't leave. I know she says, no, daddy, I love him. I know she says that, but how can you have interactions like this with somebody who clearly respect you so little as a person and still go crawling back and pretend everything is great? Is it just pure fear? Is it pure fear that this is all you've got and it's this or alone? Maybe it is. Maybe it's just the inertia of this is what I have and changing it is so hard and going into dating again. Even Foodie, as much as many people I understand actively dislike her, as much as she's problematic, as much as she lies, as much as she's just done a lot of shit, even Foodie doesn't deserve this. Even Foodie. And God, I wanted to get out of it. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you there and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.